Hey guys, this is Hamid, author of 7-Figure Agency Mindset A to Z book. Today, from the book, I've decided a very important topic to be discussed with you, which is about client onboarding checklist. Sometimes we don't have those system processes and blueprints in place, and then we keep on repeating the mistakes. We do not find the right benchmark to go with, and then sometimes the project manager is able to work on the job tremendously, and the next time he's not, because probably he doesn't have the right benchmark. So how do we get that benchmark? And that is with the right blueprint, the right SOPs. So today we'll discuss about the client onboarding checklist, which has a very important checklist and information about how does your project manager and how does your development team should be involved and in which phases they will be overlapping with each other. So let's start with onboarding checklist. The first step in onboarding checklist for the client is itself project manager ensuring that the contract has been signed. I've been explaining this multiple times that you should not start a project without signing a contract, making sure that the budgets and timelines are agreed before you even kick off the start or sales team close the sale. Before you even think about signing a deal with the customer, and that is only with the contract. The contract can be physically signed in person, or it can be done through DocuSign, or it can also be done through Adobe. We use Adobe in-house. It's a very affordable tool to sign the contracts electronically. So the project manager, he ensures that the project is signed, the agreement is signed, and he has the budget and he has the timeline and he has all the relevant information about the scope in hand before he starts managing the project. After evaluating the scope of the project, the timeline, the budgets, he then assigns the project to the team members. He's gonna find out which are the best resources in the team, or if the project is big, then he has to find out all the right resources to develop or to complete that project. If the resources are not available in-house, he may have to request the human resources team to onboard the new team members within a deadline as soon as possible. And meanwhile, the project manager should go ahead and conduct a meeting with the client, syncing about the specs. Just like the sales team close the project with all the details, he should go ahead, set up a 1 hour, 2 hours workshop to quickly go through all the details of the project, and if required, set up a regular sync of the project to make sure that as soon as he delivers the project, there is a right synchronization and the reporting process in place. And while project manager is ensuring that the client and your team is synchronized with all the scope, the development team ensures that they have all the right accesses. So if it's a digital marketing project, you have the access to Google Search Console, to Google AdWords, to Facebook Ads Manager, Google Analytics, and any XYZ other accesses you require to perform the project. Similarly, if that's a development project, you might need access to the GitHub, cPanel, hosting server, or if it's a WordPress project, you might need WordPress credentials and any other platform that you're executing on. So development team needs to ensure that they have a list of all the right accesses they require to start the project. Now we're gonna break the project into the 3 pieces. 1, during the kickoff call. 2, during the project. And 3, before the delivery of the project. So there are items that needs to be discussed and to be ensured during the kickoff meeting. Let's start with project manager ensuring that he has reviewed the project timelines and ensure that the client understands the project milestones and deadlines. That means if the project is to be assigned and scheduled and to be completed within 6 months, so both the client and also your project management team is synchronized on that, and also the way you guys are meeting with each other. Now, before you start the project manager responsibility is to make sure he asks any relevant questions before the start of the delivery. So if that's gonna be start with, let's say, doing a UI UX of an application or a website, then he's asking all the relevant questions about that design job. And if that's about digital marketing, he's asking all the relevant questions about the demographics, the audience, and everything. and you should have the blueprint for all those items and all the questions that needs to be answered during the kickoff meeting and to start the project. It is very important to understand how often are you guys meeting with each other. So we usually in-house meet with a client once a week, and then we send the report once a month, and then we communicate daily over our project management tools, which could be a Basecamp or the ClickUp or Jira or any other available tools which are liked by our customers. So that's how we set up the communication channel and communication frequency to make sure that the client has been reported on a very frequent basis. The project manager responsibility is also to make sure that he is discussing any roadblockers and discussing it with the development team and also the client. So not to forget, keep a loop of this meeting along with your development team. While project manager is discussing all the details with your customer, the development team is assessing, is being synchronized and ensuring that they understand the full scope of the project and now ready to move on to the next stage, which is during the project. Now, during the project, as we synchronize into the communication, the project manager is consistently providing the updates to the client, let's say over the Slack or the Basecamp or in weekly meetings or into the monthly reporting as well. And if there are any changes to the scope, both the client and the project manager has been synced together to make sure that both the teams are aligned. And during this communication process, the project manager also ensures that he's doing the right check-ins and he's going absolutely up to the mark and expectations of the customer itself. And while you guys are communicating with your customer, you might receive feedback from the client. Make sure to follow those guidelines and implement accordingly onto the project. And if there are any changes to the requirement or it enhances the scope, then the project manager responsibility is to update the customer that if we incorporate this feedback, it might result in increase the timeline and increase the budgets as well. And if the client gives a go ahead, then the project manager should go ahead and inform the development team or the execution team about those changes as well. And at the same time, the development team or the execution team is working with the right pace as per the expectations to make sure that the project is being executed as per the project plan. During the milestones completions, the quality assurance team is doing a manual checkup and also, if required, the automation checkup of that particular project as well to make sure that before the development team or your team is providing the details to the customers, that has been reviewed thoroughly by the quality assurance department in-house, or maybe you outsource that to a third-party agency just to make sure that you're not doing any mistake or the project is up to mark as per the project scope. And while you're working with humans, there might be issues about resources not being able to complete the project in time, or there are delays, or there are quality issues, or the quality assurance department is getting out too many issues, which is not making this project as per 100% delivery. So in case of any challenges, you should communicate to the client about the issue. So the project manager responsibility is to make sure that if there are any unavoidable issues, do discuss that with the client to make sure that you are in synchronization with each other about any potential delays of the project. Now we are at the final stage of the project, which is before the delivery. And before the delivery, the project manager responsibility is to make sure that all the work which has been done by the development team or the production team has been reviewed by the quality assurance team, and even work reviewed by the quality assurance team has been thoroughly checked again for maybe a quick smoke testing by the project manager before you deliver the work and hand over the work to the customer. And if you get a good news that the client is happy with the delivery, do not forget to sign off that project with customer saying all good, or you fill up sign off form with the customer agreeing that the project has been completed. And in the meanwhile, the project management team acknowledges that the project has been delivered, communicates with the production team, who is to provide the documentation of all the work so that when you hand over the project to the customer, they have the right details to carry on the project with or without you, with the right information and with the right training material as well. And then finally, project manager do a final meeting with the customer to get the feedback about the project, and potential improvements into the next project as well. That's it from the client checklist that we have discussed today. Do not forget to make sure that you have system, processes, and blueprints in your agency to give the best experience to your client. If you like this onboarding checklist, do not forget to like this video. Do not forget to get notification of all the future videos by subscribing to the channel 7-Figure Agency Mindset by Hamid Mahmood. And also do not forget to share this with other agency owners. Stay in touch, press the notifications or the subscribe button to ensure that as soon as the next video is published, you're being notified about it.